Hello everyone, it is Kenyon here, it is Basketball Rewind, and guess what, we're going to do another mock draft. Hopefully you are not getting sick of them by now. The draft is really just right around the corner, so at this point we're just going to go through a couple mocks. If I have time, I will go through some of the new versions of mocks, but we probably won't have the time. But stay tuned, stay locked in, stay in terms of this channel, subscribed, and certainly give it a like if you like this content, and we will get through it. So today we are going to go through ESPN's mock. It'll be interesting. I think it's going to be a little bit fun, and this is going to be Johnathan Givony as well as Jeremy Woo. So let's get into it. I'm gonna just toss it on the screen right here, and we're gonna just kind of run through the lottery picks. Again, just ignore the video. ESPN is not sponsoring me, so it is what it is. All right, so obviously they lean heavy on the intel and the projections, all that good stuff, but let's just get right into it. I'm gonna ignore anything that has to do with trades. Some of these mock drafts do deal with trades, but for us, we're just gonna ignore that and just kind of go from there. All right, so let's scroll through. First, Givony is obviously going to pick Flag, so is Woo. Makes sense. Don't really have to go through much more. They just traded Luka, as they pointed out, and yet the Mavs fans are back on top again, baby. This is an interesting. So Givony is picking for need for the second rounder, for the second overall pick, which would be Knueppel. This, in my opinion, is extremely high for Knueppel, but hey, I do think that the Spurs could go in a lot of directions at this pick. I personally wouldn't pick Con. I would pick probably Ace Bailey, or if they really wanted to, they could kind of trade back 2 spots and then kind of pick up a guy like Malawach and have like the Twin Tower type of situation going on. But in this case, they are picking Knueppel as a shooter to get some better shooting. To be fair, with De'Aaron Fox as well as Stephen Castle, I like both of those players. I like Stephen Castle a bit more, though. I don't necessarily see a place for there not to be shooting, and shooting right away, not shooting that you have to develop. And that's where a guy like Knueppel, if he was drafted here, or in my opinion, if they went for an Ace Bailey and used him as in a more of an off-ball type of role, I think that's where they kind of fit right there. But yeah, Woo's going more of the traditional, more of the contemporary pick, if you will, with the Dylan Harper, and so we go from there. Again, Givony's pick is very interesting. The next one is for Woo, that would be Philly. Woo is going to be going with VJ Edgecombe, and Givony is going with, of course, Arias Bailey. I think Arias Bailey is the correct pick here, just because if you're taking VJ Edgecombe, you already have 2 small guards. VJ is not small, but I think he's too small to play a wing type role. So if you're gonna have a backstop for Paul George long term, you might as well get the guy who is 6'7" and truly a wing, rather than the guy who is 6'5" or close to it. Moving along, again, if Harper is not picked by the Spurs, I agree with this, is that he starts going into a free fall. Now, personally, I don't see him falling all the way to Charlotte, or I could see him falling past Charlotte in this case, mainly because does Charlotte find a suitor for LaMelo Ball? They might pick Harper and then trade LaMelo Ball right after, or they might just try to play them all together with Harper as a 2. But I don't know if I see this. Woo is picking Knueppel. This is probably the earliest that I could see Con going, because again, I think that Charlotte's looking for that too. They may want VJ Edgecombe in this case, only because I think VJ in this situation would be a good defensive, kind of wing/guard player that could really fit in beside LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is incredibly talented offensively, but defensively, you need a little bit of work. So, without further ado, we're just going to keep kind of rolling through, and we'll get back into this. Number 6 is going to be a Malawach to the Wizards. I think this is the earliest that you will see Malawach go. I think Malawach is interesting fit next to Sarr, but I think you're looking long term. So it depends on the strides that, of course, the Washington Wizards want to make in this sort of situation. Having a guy like Alex Sarr, who is really mobile and can move around the court really well and cover up a lot of mistakes, and then also having a true center or closer to a true center in Maluach. They both have Maluach going to Washington. This is a very interesting pick, and I'm not against it. I don't hate it. I've seen a Queen, but I think Queen is like an earlier, like it fits. You're trying to make strides forward, and you're really truly targeting this upcoming year to take that final big swing before moving forward. But yeah, at least you got a safer pick in terms of someone who fits next to Sarr. This is a little bit more interesting because if this happens, if Maluach goes here, I think they're thinking long term in terms of the vision of Maluach himself. Both are picking Maluach, and you know what? Just from a defensive standpoint, you're looking at the finals. You're looking at, hey, like size does matter. Not only does size matter, but having two big, front court players and sizing up in that way, and also combining the size with a player like Sarr who is more agile, I think it's a great fit. So yeah. Moving along, Trey Johnson is falling all the way to New Orleans Pelicans, and Wu is picking Fears. I like both of these picks. CJ McCollum is not a long-term fit. Fears, in my opinion, you look at Fears, and guess what? They don't have a point guard for probably, for 3/4 of the season. So yeah. I think it makes sense, and Fear's a good gamble. Fear's a good gamble long term, and I think he has really, really high upside. There's an argument to not take Fears in some cases, but yeah. Brooklyn, Givony. Fears is here. He's being taken, and this is where I see it kind of playing out in the draft. Whoever the Pelicans do not pick, the Brooklyn Nets are going to pick the other person. So if one picks Fears, the other one's going to pick Johnson, assuming that they are there. If I go back up, again, I skipped the Utah Jazz by accident, sorry. So 5's Utah Jazz. Is this going to be the best of the rest? So really it's either going to be Bailey or Edgecombe. I don't like the Edgecombe fit, though. I will say that because they have Keontae George. I don't think he fits next to Edgecombe very well, but I don't know if they're serious about trying to win. Okay, now is where it gets interesting. Givony picks Queen and Wu picks Queen. I don't like this pick. I really don't like this pick. I get it that he could fit next to Jakob Poeltl, maybe in a starting lineup or something like that. I don't really like the fit of Queen because defensively he really needs to take a step up and really improve. It puts a lot more on Scotty Barnes. Now, offensively, he is going to be a lot of fun. And I think he like instantly there's people that will look at him and be like, okay, we got a dude. It's just I can't get there because of the defense. And I agree with them that like basically not to me 8/9 is kind of a bit of a line of demarcation. And where things get kind of even. I would probably go with someone else, maybe Spurs. Not the easiest pick in terms of finding some sort of I'm not picking for fit, is I guess what I'm saying. And based on who's on the board at this case, there'd be Noah. I'm not as high on Carter Bryant as others, but fine, Carter Bryant, it could work there. I mean, there's other guys that I would consider, especially since someone like Con has gone so high. Houston taking Casparis. I don't get this because there's a report that recently came out that they are opting into Fred VanVleet's contract. If they're doing that, I don't see where Casparis is getting any time. If they trade Fred, they're probably say they don't have to trade this pick. If they trade Fred for Durant and Durant ends up here, it would be interesting because then Casparis, if they keep the pick, makes a little bit more sense. Otherwise, I don't really get the fit because they just got Reed. I don't really get it, and I think that I could see them going like almost like how Wu was saying, the Colin Murray Boyles. They don't really need that much. I could also see like the Queen center type here, all hail the Queen as they say. So yeah, Portland, Yagor. I don't see them going with the guard. But sure, it's the highest upside pick, and he's tall, he's long. Maybe he could be a wing in the future. But I think it's Portland took strides forward. I think they want to continue, and I think that they would be looking for a stopgap. So this is where I would have CMB, because, of course, you know, someone like Jeremy Grant he's a solid player. I think he's overrated at some times, because it's like, I don't care how good you are on defense, if you're not playing because you're unhealthy all the time, then it just limits the value and impact that you can have on the court, because you're limiting the amount of times you are on the court to be impactful as a player. They're, again, both picking guards. This is where I think that I start disagreeing with these. But, you know, hey, there is a world where they go for a like a Knueppel as well, I think, here, or a Queen to fit next to Donovan Clingan. So yeah, we go to the Chicago Bulls. They CMB, I could see Noah, I could see, and I could also see Queen. If he falls all the way here, I could see him going there. At the end of the day, they have a lot of guards. They're probably, I've seen other mocks say Jace Richardson. Don't see that. I see them going for more of a front court type of player, and so that's where like a CMB could fit in there. Do really well. A little bit of a janky fit next to Matas, but I think they could make it work. I really like Matas, actually. Atlanta Hawks, this is very interesting. I have not done a deep dive on this player, so this is a center from Europe. Again, I do think that they would go for a center. I would have thought Sorber would have been here. Demon, I don't see. It really depends, because they just got a new GM and they just solidified that deal and all that. So since that's the case, I think that I do agree that they're looking for an upgrade on Onyeka Okongwu, and to turn him into either a power forward and have everyone size up. Even then, that's tough, because you have Jalen Johnson, who's now turned himself more into a power forward. So Onyeka Okongwu coming off the bench, and then, you know, you have a true center, or vice versa. You have Onyeka Okongwu as an undersized center starting, and then you have someone that comes off the bench and fills in a role here, and long term maybe can supersede Onyeka Okongwu. He's 18 years old. I will look into this guy. Beringer is the name, so I'll definitely. It's one of the names. Occasionally you see a name that you're like, oh, I'm not as familiar, not as logged in. Final pick of the lottery that we're kind of have a deep dive on is the San Antonio Spurs. If they get Carter Bryant at 14, that is a really good get for them and would fit in perfectly. And Jeremy Sohan needs to start like being a little bit concerned about, can I get a jump shot? Because this would be a great pick for them. This would be a slam dunk. I could see them having a really good draft. Okay, so really quickly, Asenge, yeah, I could see it. I think that they're going to probably go for someone who's a little bit more ready-made and ready to go, though. So if CMB falls all the way here somehow, I could see them going here. You could even see them getting Carter Bryant, honestly. Jace Richardson to the Magic, he's a little undersized, but I don't hate it. I think he does everything just fine. And I think he does things well enough that, you know, they need some backup for when Suggs goes down, etc., etc. Danny Wolf, it's okay. I think that they just picked a point guard, so maybe unless they're looking for, if Jace Richardson fall here, I would take him. But if not, I know that they just took Rob Dillingham. Fair enough. Since they don't know what's going to happen with Naz Reid, you're looking at a Danny Wolf or Sorber. What's interesting is I'm seeing Sorber kind of fall back, and it's probably because of the foot injury here. Asa Newell, I also kind of like there too. That to me, I think he's fallen a little bit too far, but yeah. Nolan Traore, like it just as a backstop, get a second pick. But again, like if I've seen some mocks have Washington taking like a swing on like Yegor like higher up or whatever. There's, you know, rumors that he might go as high as 5, which is quite high. But if he does, then yeah. Liam McNeely, I like him. He's solid. He had a muted second half after he got injured, but overall he had a good overall player. You know, solid. He's just a solid player. So yeah, the Sorber, McNeely. Sure, let's see if there's anyone that's really surprising me here. I like Colin Coward there, around that range. Yeah, Indiana Pacers, if they somehow, if like Sorber is around, I could see them getting that, because they definitely need, you could see it in right now, like outside of Siakam and Turner, they could use another big. So yeah, this would be great. I think Hugo's had a muted year as well, but I think he has all the tools to be a really good wing in the NBA. So yeah, oh man, this would like, there's a lot of guys that if you get into the second half of the first round with an additional pick, I would not trade back. But there's a lot of value to be had there. I think the draft really starts to drop off after the 34th pick, just because of all the NIL. So yeah. All right. Well, I guess that kind of covers it. Hopefully that's just a really quick, mock draft react. I just want to do these really quickly, to the point. Just get them out as quickly as possible to serve you all, the audience who are looking at these videos. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully you like this. If you like this type of stuff, let me know. And if there is a mock draft, or if there is someone that you want me to cover just in time for the draft or whatever, and just do like a really quick whatever, or even if I do a live right before, and I can really just touch on a prospect, and you want me to like look at someone, just let me know. So yeah, that's all. Everyone, take care and peace.